Welcome to the 8th day of the 25 Days of Planner Tips collaboration series. Hey guys, I'm Tracy and I want to welcome you to my channel, A Girl with Plans. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. Today's video is part of the 25 Days of Planner Tips collaboration that was put together by Tamra, who is known here on YouTube as well as Instagram as Thepaperandpengirl. I definitely recommend giving her a follow as she has been coordinating these collaborations for several years now, and she has links to all of the prior years' playlists on her channel, so definitely check those out. I will have the link to this year's playlist down in my description box because this is actually day number 8. So there have already been 7 videos and there will be 17 more following this one from 17 other content creators. And tomorrow's video will be featuring Lacey from Living with Lacey. So each year, Tamra selects a different topic for us all to give tips on. And this year, the topic is how to get the most out of your planner. So I'm going to be talking about this a little bit differently. My tip is going to be surrounding how to get the most out of your planner when you think it's no longer working for you. So if you're anything like me, I like to find a particular layout that I really enjoy, that I find easy to work with, and then I start to create a formula for my everyday or every week planning. So when I talk about formulas, I mean sticker placement, where I place my task list, where I place my appointments, where I place my reminders about birthdays and things of that nature. So that way, every time I come to set up my planner, it becomes more like a rinse and repeat, and it makes life so much simpler. It also helps when I come to check in on my planner. I know exactly where in my planner to look for my to-do list. I know exactly where in my planner to find that meeting. So it just makes life a lot easier. However, we all know that things happen. And life sometimes throws us a curveball, or sometimes our schedule just changes like seasonally or monthly. And sometimes that formula that we are so used to just no longer works. And in the past, when my formula has no longer worked, I just blamed my planner. I'm like, this planner no longer works. I need to change layouts. I need to figure out something different. And then I would go spend more money on a different planner, only to have my life return to normal like a month later, and that planner I got rid of would have still worked fine. So what I really tried to focus on this year in particular was figuring out a way to adjust the planner that I was in to work for me for that specific time period that my life was either in chaos or something drastically changed within my schedule, because the formula I was using was no longer going to work for that specific time, whether it be a week, 2 weeks, or even a month. I definitely needed to change things up, and I didn't want to switch planners just because something temporarily changed. So what I usually did first, because I'm not really good at like looking at a structured planner and being able to picture doing something different than what I've already been doing. For some reason, I can only see what I've already been doing. I can always see where I put my stickers, where I usually put my task lists and things like that. So I had to actually step away. And I only step away for like a few days. And I just pull out a notebook. It's usually not this notebook. It was just, this is the closest one to me at the time. It's usually one of the college ruled spiral notebooks that I pick up from Walmart during back to school time. But I'll just plan for a few days and just a blank notebook, something with no structure. I don't even create structure during that time. I just literally brain dump my tasks just to make sure I'm staying organized, even though I'm not in my planner. And I do this because, like I said, there's no structure. So I'm not being boxed into anything. And for me, it helps me reset my brain when I go back to the planner I was using and try to figure out how to use it differently. Usually what I do is I do look at what I'm actually planning during that time, because when my life gets chaotic, I start planning different things. I might not put certain things in my planner that I used to, because now I'm primarily focusing on work versus like chores and personal things that used to go in my planner. Or if my life's chaotic, I might be focusing more on house and house projects versus other little things. But like I said, I need to spend a few days away from my planner just to help my brain kind of get back to base level, so I can start looking at a layout that I was very comfortable with and was doing a lot of rinse and repeat layouts with, to be thinking about this a little bit differently. So what I have in front of me is a Happy Planner vertical layout and a Happy Planner horizontal layout. I just pulled these out of my stockpile because they were easy to pull out because they were disc-bound systems. But a lot of planner companies have layouts that are very similar to these two. These are two of the most popular layouts, so I felt like they were pretty good for example purposes. So I have worked with a vertical layout for part of this year, and I will be using a vertical in 2026. And one of the ways that I have been able to make this work for me has been very simple. All I've done is turned my vertical layout into a teacher layout. And I've just done that by adding a line. And do I need to do this? No, I can probably, do this without lines and add stickers or boxes to do that. But for me, sometimes I have to actually make the layout look different in order to use it differently. Now, if this was something that I was going to be doing for months on end, then maybe at some point I can do away with the line and then already kind of know what's going on because I have a new formula that I created. But until I get there, I have to create lines. Now, I know that these are not even. I would need a see-through ruler or a clear ruler in order to do that. But yeah, I'm just pretty much creating lines to kind of make my own teacher layout. Now, I've done this in the past where I've created lines in just a few boxes, so that way I have one big box still at the bottom. So I technically have 5 different sections, or you can break them all up so you can have 6 different sections, which is more similar to the Happy Planner color block layout. This just really worked for me. I don't know why. It's very simple. It seems very elementary, but again, the way my brain operates, because this already looks structured with the 3 spaces, I needed to create a new structure in order to make it work. So that is one of my suggestions for restructuring the vertical layout. Very simple. A lot of you probably already knew that, but just in case you didn't, there we go. Now let's talk about the horizontal layout. So the one thing I do with the horizontal layout sometimes is I'll just break up one of these boxes, so that way it's not just one horizontal long box. So I can break this up so that way there are separate sections within the box. And sometimes I don't need separate sections within each box. I just need them within certain days. So that is one way to do it. That's what kind of a lot of people do. And some of your horizontal layouts actually have sections already in there. However, another way is if the horizontal layout just is not working for you, and it might not even be due to the season of your life or the chaos that is currently going on in your life. It may just be because it just doesn't work. You can actually turn the horizontal layout into a vertical layout by just adding columns. Now, I am not doing a very good job of evenly spacing these, but you get the gist. So you can just continue this on to make 7 to 8 columns. The reason why I say 8 is you might want one long column that can kind of act as your sidebar or task list for the week. Now, this will require a little bit more kind of work because you may want to go ahead and white out the days of the week and the date. Even if it's undated, you'll have to white out the Monday and Tuesday. But you can see by whiting that out, you now have a lined vertical layout. So you've now turned your horizontal into a lined vertical. Now, I'm sure you could probably do something different, like here too. You could probably do like a semi-horizontal here. I don't know about all of that. So I can't show you all of that, but I was just trying to show you the simple things, because usually for me, when life gets chaotic and I need to I need to change around my actual layout, I also need to do it pretty quick because I just don't have the time to do a lot of work. And usually when this happens, I don't decorate either. But I think you could still decorate. There's still room to decorate for that. So yeah, those are just a few tips. Those are just a few ideas. Basically, I just kind of wanted to get you thinking about possibly looking at your current layout a different way in those instances that your life changes, or it's a different season of your life. If you're off work for the summer and you don't have as much to plan in your planners, maybe you can change up your current layout instead of switching planners. So that's kind of what I wanted to chat a little bit about today. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found this helpful. As I said, there's going to be 17 more tips coming from 17 different content creators. So definitely be sure to follow along and see the other tips that will be coming your way. As I said, I will have the playlist linked down in my description box, and definitely be sure to check out tomorrow's video from Lacey. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If you have yet to subscribe, I hope you will consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like this video, please smash that like button. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.